Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Joseph Backholm. My pleasure to be with you today. Reminder that the website is tonyperkins.com. The National Abortion Fund, the multi-million-dollar organization largely backed by Warren Buffett, helps fund as many as 10% of all abortions in the United States. Beginning this week, the organization will require all mothers who receive chemical abortions paid for by the fund to ingest the abortion pills only in states where abortion is legal. A standard procedure until now has been for mothers who travel for chemical abortions to take one round of pills immediately and a second round after returning home. Why do they care about making sure chemical abortion drugs aren't being taken in places where abortion is illegal? Could it have something to do with lawsuits against the National Abortion Federation? Joining me now to discuss the new legal landscape is Mike Seibel, founder and lead attorney for Abortion on Trial, an advocacy group that specializes in getting convictions for abortion doctors. Mike, welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here today.
We're glad to have you. Please, if you would, illuminate us a bit on the work that you do.
So we at Abortion on Trial focus on helping women who are hurt by the abortion industry, medical malpractice cases against the abortion industry, lawsuits against the pill manufacturers, lawsuits against doctors who prescribe the pill in the wrong manner, as well as any complications that happen from surgical abortions as well, especially late-term abortions, which seem to be a problem here in New Mexico.
Now, in light of that and your experience with malpractice claims, perhaps negligence claims, you see the transition that the abortion industry is making and the priority given to chemical abortions. What are your thoughts about what that means for women and for the abortion industry?
Well, for women in general, I think it's a very unsafe and unregulated practice that's going on that's going to lead to a lot of both physical and emotional injury. What we're seeing is, a lot of these women are going to the emergency room after the abortion from a chemical abortion standpoint. We're seeing ectopic pregnancies that are misdiagnosed and ruptured. We're seeing things such as sepsis or pulmonary embolism or uncontrolled bleeding. 8% according to APLOG, 6% according to the CDC are ending up in the emergency room after they take these pills. So there's going to be a very large number of women injured as a result of the chemical abortion industry. And it's going to subject both the abortion industry, pill makers, and the doctors to numerous lawsuits for medical negligence, product liability, medical malpractice. So I think there's some exposure there. Additionally, we're seeing a different type of thing happen on the emotional standpoint with women. Women are taking this very hard when they take these pills. They are guilt-laden in this situation, more so than they did with the surgical abortion. A lot of that is because they are the abortionist. Their bathroom is the abortion clinic, and their toilet or their backyard is their cemetery, and they're just taking this so emotionally hard afterwards. And we're seeing a lot of emotional problems as a result of these chemical abortions, which is going to lead to a lot of lawsuits against the industry.
And the emotional harm that you described there is perhaps surprising, because I think one of the perceived appeals of chemical abortions is that it's so early that it would be essentially victimless and benign. It would just be like taking an aspirin and then you're done with it. But as you described, that is not the experience that women are having. But at the top of the segment there, I highlighted how the National Abortion Federation itself seems to be very concerned about this issue. They're making women commit to only taking these pills in places where these drugs are legal. Why would that be?
So when you look at states like Texas, and we've been working with the Sanctuary Cities for the Unborn, Mark Lake Dixon, we're making anybody who assists in the abortion illegal. If it happens in the state like Texas where it's banned, I think there's a prosecution risk that the National Abortion Federation risks in this situation if they do it in that state. So if they keep the entire act out of the state, which is where it's illegal, then they're protected a lot more from a criminal standpoint, and even from a medical malpractice standpoint, than if they take it in, say, Texas rather than in New Mexico. I don't think there's any jurisdictional, or at least there's a questionable jurisdictional question if they take it out of state, where in a state where it's legal.
Now, Mike Seibel, slightly off script for you, but I have hypothesized that as the transgender movement takes off, there's going to be a lot of lawyers getting rich off of the poor decisions being made by healthcare professionals in that space. It's not funny, but I think it is a way to, the harm is very real, but you have experience in that space. Any chance you guys branch out?
There's a chance that we branch out. I mean, what we're going to face in the blue states is a deluge of injuries, healthcare crises, everything else in the abortion industry. I can see some liability on the transgender, the surgeries that they're doing. I think that there's going to be a lot of questions a couple of years down the line from some of these people, and I think they're going to eventually file suit.
Oh, I think they are going to as well. And as a kind of recovering former lawyer, it's the one issue that has perhaps prompted me to get back into the business, because there's a lot of work to be done there. But we thank you so much for your work as well, defending the unborn and the victims of the abortion industry. And thanks for your time today, Mike.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful afternoon.